Welcome to the Outer Realm with Michelle Desrochers and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Wednesday night segment of the Outer Realm. We are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network, UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 from the Gulf Coast, 107.7 from beautiful New Orleans. We are fully sponsored by the amazing people over at Folgers Coffee who have been a part of our journey for the last several years. So thank you, Folgers. We couldn't do it without you, nor would we want to. Also, big thank you to Justin Snicker, a.k.a. Dr. Snick, the Sonic Surgeon, for the contribution of his time, his music, and his voice for the intro you just heard. He is an award-winning composer of Halloween, horror, and sci-fi dark wave electronic music, which can be found on all of your favorite music streaming platforms. Also, thank you to Steve McGinnis, the artist behind our logos here at the show. Check him out on Facebook and Instagram. Also specializes in the horror and Halloween genre, but does amazing pieces of any type. So tonight we welcome back, it's been a while, fellow UPRN host of the Gateway podcast, C.L. Thomas, and we're going to be discussing, I guess, the mysteries of the Mojave, high strangers in the Mojave Desert. And, you know, maybe it's, I don't know, I thought would want to get lost in a desert, but this place, anything I've been reading up on, I'm like, maybe an exception. A lot of stuff going on over there. So without further ado, C.L. Thomas. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm okay, actually. It feels like a Monday for me today. It's just like, there's a whole melee of crazy, but otherwise it's all right. It's all right. How are you?
I'm not going to lie. I woke up this morning thinking it was Thursday.
So I'm 2 days behind, and you know you're a day ahead, which is awesome. So that's all right. That's all right. Well, I'm glad you're here. It's just like, oh, hey, everybody. I'm just making my way down. Hello, Wayne. Hello, Heidi. Hello, Mort. Hello. God, you guys are just awesome. Keep going. Carol Ann. Hello. Kathy. Hello. Oh boy. Okay.
Oh, look, someone else said it was Thursday too.
Okay, so it's not so bad then. So I goes, I'm mad at Brent Thomas right now. He blocked me out of my channels for intelligence. Oh, okay. That's not good. No, that's never fun. It's never fun, unfortunately. But we're happy you're here. And I think you'll find a really nice community of people. So everybody here is just like one big happy family. Everybody sort of just likes to chit chat. Also thought it was Thursday. So, okay, don't feel so bad now. Listen in Colorado. Woohoo, Dolly. Hello. Colorado for sure. Well, you guys are just great. So, and hello to CL.
Hello.
There we go. I know. So I'll be flashing things around as we go, and we'll be going from there. So paranormal. Yeah. We were having a conversation about this. we could end up, yeah. And when we're thinking about the mysteries of the Mojave, you know, I know there's tons of history in there, like most places, right? But what made you decide that you wanted to, like, you're really into this place, you really love it?
I think it's because I moved here.
Okay.
So I'm right in the center of all of it.
Yeah. So what do you experience?
Oh gosh.
Does it come to your front door, or do you have to go venturing?
You know, so I live like right against the mountains. I live in Southern Highlands, and it backs right up against the mountains, and I live way in the back of it. And Yeah, it's you experience a lot of paranormal phenomena here.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it's not just my house, it's all over. It's the entire area experiences it. Around the Blue Diamond area,
Mhm.
we'll experience a lot. Over in North Las Vegas, that's where you get into a lot of the alien phenomena. A lot of people experience alien stuff there. And then you have the Henderson area, and it's a lot of Native American
Mhm.
things going on. So,
Wow. So this pretty much came to your front door.
yeah.
So what was your first experience that made you kind of go, I need to know more? Give it to me. Give it to me. Yeah.
Oh, man. There's just so much. So, for me, my first experience, I would say, in the Mojave is going out into the desert. Not so much the Las Vegas area, but
Yeah.
I like to go hiking a lot. I've become almost obsessed with old gold mines. It kind of makes me think that maybe I was a treasure hunter in my past life or something. I don't know. Something's going on that I don't know about. But I love to find old ghost towns in mining camps. You can see them on Google Maps, and I try to hike out to them up in the mountains. And the first time I've ever done that, I think I was here not even 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a remote ghost town that I try to get out to.
Mm-hmm.
And the roads are all washed out. You have to hike a couple miles up into the mountains to get to it. You're driving down this dirt road off in like for a mile. I think it's like 33 miles that I drove as far as I could get to get to this place. But this baby colt came out of nowhere and literally ran in front of my car. And this thing is tiny enough that it needed like a mother to nurse off of.
Oh.
And his mom was not in sight and just ran laps around my car as I'm going down this little dirt road. It's a wagon trail road.
Mm-hmm.
And I stopped the car thinking that, something's wrong with this horse. And, I looked around for its mom. The mom's not around. And then all of a sudden it like makes a noise at me and it takes off down the direction that I had just come from.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was gone. So that was a really weird phenomenon, but it was like it wanted me to stop for some reason. So I look and there's this Joshua tree, and then there's these dolls all around the Joshua. It was like 5 or 4 different dolls all around a Joshua tree.
Wow.
They're all bound. Some of them had their like one of them had their mouth burned out, the other one had their eyes burned out, and so forth. They had organic materials shoved in them. There was flies all over them. So Don Yazzie, who was on my show last night, he said that was absolutely Native American witchcraft going on, and each doll represented that they were trying to conjure something bad to happen to them. But
oh, wow.
After that experience, I was having a lot of nightmares and dreams and just all sorts of things.
Mm-hmm.
From there, I started experiencing a lot of EVPs and just a lot of different things happened to me in different areas around here.
Right. So do you go wandering by yourself?
Yeah, I don't have a lot of friends here that would do that. A lot of my friends are kind of what I would call like indoor people.
Right. Okay, so they don't like to hang out in the desert. Got it.
You go to the casinos, the clubs. That's
yeah.
We do clean up and do that every now and then, just so you know. But
yeah. So you're just like a desert gal. So
hiking out in the wilderness.
Wayne says, I wonder if the colt was a skinwalker.
It could have been, and actually, Don Yazzie, who was on my show last night, kind of alluded to that.
Yes. Wow, that is really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Don is a really interesting person to talk to, with the whole Navajo legends, and he speaks with so many people from different areas who experience the same idea. And it would seem like these barren places are a prime location for many different levels of high strangeness. I mean, many. Like the history, like here we have like the aside from the place being near Vegas, being a desert, that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave that one right there. As to maybe why it might be haunted, but
There's a lot of that too.
yeah, well, yeah, because it's known for a lot of baffling disappearances, so maybe not necessarily
Yeah,
just those kind of disappearances, which I'm sure are there, but they have like really strange disappearances there.
they
And
do.
people, well, I mean, people say, serial killers to UFOs.
They say if you look on the Las Vegas police, Metro Police, on their website, it has right on there that up to 600 people go missing every month from Las Vegas. Every month. Now, a lot of that is due to sex trafficking. That is a big thing here because we're so close to the border.
Yes.
Someone gets drunk enough, they get them off the street. It's very dangerous to come here alone as a female.
Wow.
There's people that will look for someone that's drunk and then they capture them and rush them over the border. So there's that. But there is a lot of other disappearances going on too that can't be accounted for.
So UFOs?
UFOs, it could be mob activity because they are still active. There's a lot of people that go missing in the state parks around here, like Death Valley. That's a big one.
And what's the idea? Like, what's the Death Valley? I mean, for the obvious reason, but for those who don't know.
Well, we kind of think it's like cryptoids and things like that.
Yeah. So what kind? What kind do you
Native
have
Americans, a lot of Native American cryptoid activity is here. So there's a place called Tecopa. It's not too far. It's about maybe 40 minutes from me. And underneath there's a underground river, first of all, or the Armagosa River goes underneath it. And back then, the Native Americans believed that this was the cradle of civilization because it had water. You're out in the middle of the Death Valley area. And a lot of civilizations kind of huddled around this spot for a long time. But also, there's a belief that Native Americans kind of called upon different entities to protect that area. So when you had the Spaniards come through, or with the, I forget the name of it. You know what I'm talking about, though, during the Middle Ages.
Yeah, the Inquisition.
Yeah, the Inquisition stuff. You had the people come through with mining and all of that sort of thing. They were trying to drive the Native Americans out. So there's just so much history. But the belief is that the Native Americans called these entities up to kind of protect them in the land and to keep the land from being used in the event that it did fall into the wrong hands. So there's a lot of belief about that.
Yes. Well, hello. There's another desert dweller. No. No, that's okay. Say hello. Yeah, I mean, people, I think, sometimes forget when you factor in there are elemental spirits or ancestral spirits that guard certain Native American areas that they hold to be sacred or that they may be cautious about. And a lot of times those are areas that they won't even talk about unless you know someone and you're very, very trusted. The oral history is just so fascinating when you get into that. That's really where you find out so much of the really phenomenal information. But when it comes to, like, I know talking about even, cryptids in general, when you talk to Don, for example, and I don't know if the same applies to the Mojave, but he was saying, oh no, we have like giant spiders. I'm like the ones in Africa, they're like 5 feet across, those kind. They just, I sent him a picture one. He's like, it's like that kind right there. So we have those, and then they've got goat man. Then they've got skinwalkers. Then they have saber-toothed tigers. They have seen phoenixes. They have seen unbelievable. Oh yeah, unbelievable amount of things that keep coming in. Entrances to Middle Earth, reptilian beings, UFOs in the sky, and like windows. They just open up and then they just close and disappear, and they're just gone. Portals, things coming in and out all the time. Extraterrestrials, Bigfoot, dogmen. Who'd I leave out?
It goes on and on and on.
It does. So, have there been reports of anything along these lines in the Mojave as well that you know of?
Can you repeat the question? I'm so sorry. My cat had knocked something out on the speaker.
I said, out of all of these different, cryptids that I've mentioned, I mean, does the Mojave have its share of cryptids that you know of as well?
Yes, it does. And again, like with we have Bigfoot things that go on here. We have a lot of pterodactyls. So they say
the Thunderbird idea. Yeah.
We also have, we have like giant insects. And this is going to sound really weird, but yes. So in Tacoma, a lot of people report there that they see like lights and they'll hear like chirping and things like that. And it's very strange because, again, that underground water thing that I was telling you about. There's also thermal pools everywhere. So it's a great place to go to the hot springs.
Right.
So the belief is that naturally draws insects from the underworld. So there's like giant spiders, there's giant grasshoppers, just all sorts of things like that. And we did an investigation out there at a place called China Ranch. And it's like an oasis in the middle of the desert because that's where part of the Armagosa River comes up. It surfaces there. And so this has like centuries long. It's an area that has been farmed on for centuries by Native Americans. And then it was farmed by the China guys that was working on the railroads. And it just went on and on and on. But now we actually caught like this chirping noise as EVPs, and I should have like given you that stuff. But we also used an is it an SLR camera?
Mm-hmm.
The one with the stick figures.
I know the one you mean. Yeah, the stick figure, like those.
Yeah. I'm not like an investigator equipment girl.
No, that's okay.
Somebody had one of
those. Those are the. I have one of those actually. They're. I thought you were talking about those beings that walk across. No, it's an SLS. It's an
SLS camera.
Yes.
On that camera, we actually caught a being that kind of is shaped like a grasshopper coming up on one of the investigators, and this thing is like 3 times their size. So it's like towering over them at least 15 feet. And it looks like a giant grasshopper.
Oh, gosh. 15 feet is a very big bug.
Yeah.
Any chance that it could have been like a mantis ET being?
It could have been a mantis. Absolutely.
Yeah. So like ET, not so much just a very large insect. I can't even imagine. The spiders are enough for me, but having something that's giant bugs are just I don't know. Problems. So, you all right?
Yeah, I'm trying to get you. There you go. There you go.
Yeah. So it's a little definitely, a place worth exploring. I think if you could get into, let's talk about maybe a little bit about some of the haunted locations. Like, have you investigated some of the old mines out there?
I have, yes.
And
oh man, everywhere you go here is haunted. Literally everywhere. And it's not your typical haunting like you would go into a haunted house on the East Coast. It's got a different feel to it. It's a lot more, I don't want to say evil. It's not evil. It's meaner. Like the spirits there are a lot meaner.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really look at the history of it, where particularly in some of the more remote areas had, after the Civil War, you had a lot of guys go out there because they didn't want to be charged for war crimes or anything like that. So they took off. They went out west, and they were in some of these ghost towns, so they wouldn't be found. But you also had a lot of people who were criminals that were hiding out there. It was very lawless, of course. You had a lot of people just shooting. Everyone knows about these stories. But the hauntings kind of take on that personality.
Right. A survival of the fittest, and, a sort of hierarchy.
Yeah.
I imagine as well, when you have a hierarchy of people who may have that mindset, I don't imagine it's going to get, very friendly. And again, like Wayne says, the harsh climate would not help. The conditions would make it difficult just for sheer survival.
Right. There's one place that the place I was trying to hike to when I saw the Joshua tree. If you continue on down the road, and I did this and hiked up into, it's one of the larger ghost towns in the remote area. You have to hike to it, but it has like over 100 foundations left from the town that used to be there. It was a very substantial town. And that every time I go there, I get a lot of evidence. I get lights, I get shadows, I have like a lot of EVPs from this place. They called it the Widowmaker mine because when it would kill so many people and it was because they had to crush up quartz, pull out the gold, and they were breathing that in, and it was killing them.
Yeah. Yes. So there was a lot of natural deaths as well before you're ready to go. Wayne wants to know, did anything follow you home, CL?
Oh man, yes. Yes.
Okay.
I never really had issues with stuff following me home. I did have stuff follow me home though, but I do have a friend who came with me, and the first time I went to this particular ghost hunt I keep talking about, I felt totally defeated for very many reasons. Apart from coming across the witchcraft place, my car got stuck in the middle of nowhere. I had no cell phone. Just all sorts of things happened on that trip. So eventually I had to go back. And so my friend carried me back in a different vehicle, and we were able to get closer and that sort of thing. But he made a mistake of challenging. We started picking up on activity, and he actually challenged it. You're not allowed to follow me. Kind of that arrogance, you're not allowed to follow me kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it was almost as if this spirit said, hold my beer.
Nah.
I'm not even joking about this. So he, the first night, everything's fine with him. And then he gives me a call the next day, and he goes, yeah, I heard singing last night. I heard the sound of a horse on a horseback going through the back of my yard, and a woman singing in a native language. And I thought, well, maybe that's just residual, because we are on Native American land anyhow.
Yes.
Yeah. So then he said he started having dreams about the place that we were at. He believes it was one of the miners there. And then he actually got scratched. He got scratched all the way down his arm with this three scratches all the way down his arm, even underneath his watch. He had a watch on, and it scratched him underneath that. He had a lot of problems. I had to go and clean his house multiple times and try to help him out with that, and kind of teach him you can't go to ghost towns and challenge spirits like that.
Wow. No, it's not a really good idea. Hold my beer, taking care of this. Yeah, I don't think it's a good idea. It's like poking, an invisible bear. You don't want to do that. Yeah, that makes it really hard. And of course, your pets will usually just flag that right off the bat, something comes around, right? So yeah. Wow. So let's talk a little bit about some of they say, like, there have been books written on just the spook factor. of the Mojave, like demonic cults, like, again, the murders, yeah, but unknown creatures, yes, but there's a really high level of high strangeness in there, like supernatural events that go beyond just the ghosts and UFOs, like portals.
Yes.
I mean, getting into portals and just, how many people disappear that might be just get lost in these areas and just vanish.
That very well could happen, especially around the Mojave areas, such as what is that? It's the Grand Canyon has a lot of.
Okay, there's a whole show just by itself.
The Grand Canyon is very much known for disappearances and portals and just all of that, all of the above.
Yes, how to get a negative attachment 101. The Grand Canyon is, I mean, it's a bit of an anomaly, and ancient civilizations and things aren't what they seem. And of course, they believe that there are, caves in there that are from, ancient civilizations that were not necessarily Native American,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Right.
And I mean, you could go to, if you talk to, Deborah Thunderbeat, who basically does tours. And she's somebody I should connect you with since you love the desert. So, because she does them out in Sedona, and she has an ancient Egypt tour on structures that look a whole lot like certain statues carved right into the mountains and things that you would see in ancient Egypt. Like, I've talked to so many people out that way, and it's the same situation. Like when you talk about these places, like, we're talking about the Mojave, the Grand Canyon. I mean, how many tunnel systems and cave systems are there in these places that you have no idea what's actually underground?
There's a lot. And, I just learned something new, that there's actual lava tunnels and things too around the Nevada and Utah border.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, you guys must have military bases down.
We have a lot of there's tons of military bases around here.
Yeah.
I wanted to point out too, outside of the Armagosa, in the Armagosa Valley, there's a mountain that stands off on its own that looks like a pyramid, like a man-made pyramid.
There we go. See?
I have not. I need to. I'd never had time to go hike out to it. Because the thing about the desert, you see it from a road, looks close, but it's really not. It'll take you all day to hike out to it.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. But yeah, I do plan on hiking out to that at some point to see what that is. But it's also interesting too, because they always find there's an odd report around the Las Vegas area of megaglyphs just popping up randomly in the desert and then disappearing. So that's another thing.
That's a thing for sure. Annette is asking again. She came in late. Where are you located?
I am in Las Vegas.
Okay. Annette is on a show with Father Sean Whittington, and they're Friday at 5:00. So Father Sean's. Oh, I should know this, and I'm brain tooting, Annette. I'm sorry. Can you just please write it down, and I'm going to flash it up. I'm just as terrible. But yeah, there's. I'm just going to try to see if I can find this. Never mind. Never mind. I'm going to do this now. I'm just insisting. There we are. Paranormal Ministry. I knew it was on the paranormal something. I couldn't remember the last word. Yeah. Oh, Father Sean is also in Las Vegas. Oh, look at that.
What? He is?
Yeah. There we go.
I didn't know this.
Yes, it has been. Thank you, Wayne. Yes. See, look at that. You've just got a whole group of people who are nice and close.
Oh yeah, I need to go meet up with him then.
Yeah, he does all kinds of investigating as well. So there you go. There we are. So yeah, so Hillbilly says, I think they uncovered pyramids everywhere. I played frisbee golf in Belize over top of an unexcavated pyramid that you would never know. Yeah, some places just won't even talk about these pyramids. China, they got them all over the place. They won't even acknowledge it. They don't talk about them. So I wouldn't be surprised if you had one because they are literally all over the world, and people will just put them off as, oh, it's a big pointy mountain. That's just yeah, right. So
I
yeah,
have a picture of it somewhere. It looks like a pyramid. It
yeah.
has even has the straight angles on it, which there's no straight lines in nature. This mountain, when you look at it, it really is.
So, so you want? Yeah, I think it would be great to go and investigate, but there are things usually around some
Yeah.
of these as well, right? You have to be really careful. Hello, as to what comes in and out from underneath some of these things. Like there are tunnels and pyramids. Like that's where if you have anything that's going to hide, like pyramid power, that's it. That was a thing. This energy and these energy chambers, especially with that specific shape. I mean, there's so much research that's been done on that. People were actually building houses, especially out Vegas way, that was shaped like this. It's crazy. You think it's a fad, then you start realizing that there are actual health benefits to it. And the ancients knew because the ancients, are aware of everything. This is something I wanted to touch on as well because this is really big in Utah, right? The with the Grand Canyon, the Aztec and Egyptian stuff for sure, because the Native American people. Do you ever watch Blind Frog Ranch? Did you ever
No.
watch that? It's down near Skinwalker Ranch, a little bit of a distance from there, and the Native American people there say that because they believe that they have found the Aztec gold. They believe that there is something there. They're finding bits of old Aztec civilization. And the Native American people say, they were coming home. They didn't escape South America to come here. They were returning here.
It's very possible,
Yeah, I think so. It's starting to really look that way with some of the things that they find. Yes. No, she's on Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time, Kevin. Yeah. Yeah. Blind Frog Ranch does have some crazy stuff going on, but they're finding all kinds of stuff. It's insane. It's insane. So how many more ancient civilizations that we don't even realize are native maybe to North America, not just so much South America and Mexico and down that whole area. So tunnels.
Well, there's another mystery that I can touch on that kind of relates to that, and that's with the blue hole. And it's, about the blue hole. That's it's really deep hole filled with water in the middle of. It's right on the edge of the Mojave and Death Valley.
Mm-hmm.
And this hole is where Manson took his family because they believed that they were going to go hide once the war started, that he was trying to start, that they were going to go hide in the other world that's below that. It's funny he would think that because years later, a couple of divers went missing that dove into this little area, and a big research thing started because they couldn't find the bodies, and they discovered that this hole was so deep. They actually fed it with all the cable that they could find. There's no cable long enough that will reach the bottom of this thing, and they think there's a river that flows underneath it.
Mm-hmm.
But when an earthquake happens in China or somewhere else, it affects the water levels in this thing. So are they all connected that deep?
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Seriously. Yeah, I've read all kinds of stuff on that. Like people go missing there very easily. Like they just get into some really bad situations. I thought I read something at one time where people were diving it and there were extraterrestrials that came up from underneath.
Oh, wow. It's warm water too. So it's for as deep as it is, it's thermal water as well.
Yes. I don't know. It would, yeah, it would make some sense, like for sure, But they talk about these unexplained roads and sites, roads that lead to nowhere or just disappear. Ancient. I mean, you guys got a lot of petroglyphs as well.
Yes.
That desert is loaded with petroglyphs and rock art.
Yeah. It's I always try to go out and find them, but you'll just go out on a random trail and you'll see them. You'll see they usually use the swirlies, and that usually indicates that it was somewhere that was sacred. So it very well could be an area that has a portal somewhere nearby.
Mm-hmm.
That over and over.
Well, if you see some of the this artwork and these petroglyphs and such, if you see the circles like a spiral, those I believe are supposed to be. Are they not? Isn't that not an inscription for portal in that area?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you'll see them. You can just go walking on a normal hiking path that's used by everyday people, and you'll see them on a rock. At the bottom of a rock, there'll be one of those spirals.
So at least they're giving you a heads up. Turn back.
Turn back now.
Portal ahead.
You can see them up on Mount Charleston. I found them up there even.
Wow, really? Yeah, see? Those things are everywhere. And I do believe that the Native American people and indigenous people from all over the world, especially the ancients, they knew what these things were. They knew how to create them because they're not hard to create. They knew they would definitely locate themselves and their camps around them. So those are ancient symbols in many ancient cultures. Yes, absolutely. So anyway, super, super interesting. So again, the secret underground worlds that you were talking about, they believe that there are theories where they have vast cavern systems that lead to hollow or inner earth with a lot of societies. I'm much, I guess, like the Hopi and the Ant people.
That's really Don Yazzie talked a lot about the ant people yesterday.
Yeah.
We do have mystery. We don't just have ant people, though. We also have giants.
Yes.
So there's a place in Lovelock where they actually found skeletons of giants.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. There's one that, Smithsonian dumped a whole bunch of bones in the ocean from giants.
Really? Why would they dump them in the ocean?
Why? Because the salt water will just erode them, will just eat away at the bones, because that was quite a while back. People who would donate a lot of that sort of stuff to the Smithsonian would just lose them, never to be seen again. And they were, it was common knowledge. A lot of researchers are well aware. They threw a bunch in there. I mean, wouldn't that just alter history as you know it? Mm. So, it's not, history is not always safe in the hands of, no, not at all. So getting into some of the mythology, which are the Mojave supernatural beliefs, stories explain world creation, roles of powerful figures, spiritual beings, and deities. So you guys seem to have this mix of a whole lot of different mythologies as well as just your history.
We have a lot. So you have like the Native American stuff that believe, like you just mentioned, the ant people, in the whole underworld. There's this whole thing that they believe, like, again, they believe that this was the cradle of civilization. Mm. So they believe that the earth, like we got a new earth and something drastic happened here where it was like all fire, all of the volcanoes had erupted, all of that. So it wasn't livable. And so the people went under the ground to live. Mm. And then I guess the ant people helped them, and different things helped them do this. And then they were able to emerge back. I think Hopi really believed this. They were able to come back once Earth was habitable again, and then they repopulated the Earth.
Yes.
But it's interesting that from all the way on the other side of the world, you have the Mormons come in And they also believe that their whole belief system started here in the Mojave. They have they believe that their Jesus walked in the Mojave. They found God here in the Mojave. They believe all of this. If you read the Book of Mormon, Joshua tree is a symbol of God in the desert.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of interesting where this plays out again and again in this area.
So what is it specifically about this area that seemed to make people just gravitate to it?
I think it has to do with it being so similar to like Jerusalem, the desert of Jerusalem. There's a lot of similarities.
Right.
That the same, the same atmosphere, the same, I don't know.
Yeah.
That would be my guess, but I'm not sure. I don't have a good answer for that.
Yeah, some people are just, when it comes to this area, they just seem to want to disappear. Like some people will literally travel to Vegas, for example, and find themselves over there. I mean, I've seen they've had, different, especially like back in the day before the whole paranormal craze. There used to be some really interesting paranormal shows. And there was one clip that I saw where there were 2 or 3 people and they just went to spend the night and they took 2 mirrors facing towards each other in the Mojave. And because the idea is like it will open a portal. They started doing some experiments and one of the mirrors just exploded literally. And and then things got real at that point. And then they just basically scattered. I've seen different variations, people trying to recreate that specific moment because there was really no explanation, but they just started feeling like they were being circled and things were all around them at that point. But it takes a lot of force to be able to do that.
I'm going to have to look up that show. I've never seen that.
I don't know what the show was. I found the clip of it, and it was, again, so many people tried to recreate it, possibly to debunk it, possibly to try to get an understanding of what they were feeling that night. But when that happened, one mirror was fine, the other one just shattered. And then they just basically, tried to grab all the pieces up. They came back in the morning and just tried to sweep up all the pieces of the glass and get rid of it because they believed maybe that something had gotten trapped inside of it. It was a crazy things. I cannot recall what the name of the show because it's just one of these old ones. I used to love watching the old shows like, Scariest Places on Earth and things like that. Those were like outstanding. But I think when YouTube came out, obviously became more of a source for people to watch different clips. This clip it was on YouTube, but it came from one of these older shows. And then and that's when you started people commenting on that saying, yeah, we tried this and we tried that. We couldn't get back to it. In Search Of was another really good one back in the day with Leonard Nimoy. Absolutely.
I'm going to have to look that up because, I'm curious now because you're right. It seems like this area draws so much. People from all over the world will come here for Vegas, but there's a reason why even Vegas is here, why that whole thing started. So
I think it is just an area where there was just so much history. So much history. I mean, all over. I mean, it's all over. It's not like we could centralize it per se, but there was just something about the gold rush and people just going down, down to California, staying on the Pacific side of things, being warmer, but it was just, I mean, so much hardship coming into the American West. I mean, there's so much hardship and you can just watch Yellowstone. People will tell you all kinds of stuff there. But it's just one example that life was really tough. And I think Like some of the most haunted places I've worked at have been old homesteads, where even when people build brand new houses and surveys and things like that, they don't realize, people fought really hard for
Yeah.
their land. Your land sustained you. Chances are you were born on the land, you died on the land, your kids were born on the land. A lot of these places had their family members buried on the land. You had to chop wood, right? Just for fire. You could get lard, just to make, to get candles going. You had to, the crops and the herds. You were land wealthy, you were somebody. And it doesn't mean they gave it up after passing. Like, it was still theirs, because it's all they had. And so I think you run across all of that. But coming to Vegas, you're coming up from California up to that coast where California, the city of, of Los Angeles, right? It really is. And then you come into Vegas, which is that other level of people trying to make it. And where you have places like this, you end up having, the gambling, you end up having broken dreams, you end up getting into bad situations. Then people just go wander into the desert just to try to get away from some of that, much like, the people you were talking about earlier. And I don't know, because it is considered, like, our desert's considered more like national parks in some places as well.
Not in the Mojave. Most of the Mojave is BML land.
Okay.
Which means you can go out there, you can do a claim, you can do just anything you want out there.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. And it's because it's so desolate, it's so barren and desolate. That's the reason. So yeah. I think that in itself says a lot too, though, because when you talk about all of that energy that you're describing, it just seems like that energy has a way of keeping this land clean. I will say that, because think about I've come across probably hundreds now of mining camps and old towns and things, and none of them survived. Even though we still have railroads and things that go by these places, those towns died off. There's a reason for that. So I don't know.
I could have a lot to do with it. It's just that energy that it just lingers. If you think about, even for one moment, how powerful we are as people, as individuals, and when we die, it leaves such a large imprint in that time and space. You hear stories where people have passed away and people will hear like a sonic boom come out of nowhere. I've read on a couple of accounts in small towns where there's really nothing special about the town. They'll tell you, people are just like, not special about our little town. We're a small community. But on a couple of stories that I've read where there's a sonic boom that came out of nowhere, and when they had officials tried to even, investigate through, because I think at the time, there was only one plane that could do that, right? And there was nothing like that in the sky. Anything going on, military, anything. And they had attributed it to people who had died. And one was this little old lady. And when they gave the time of death, and the family was there when it happened, they said after her passing, there was literally within seconds a sonic boom that had happened. And they started investigating this as a possibility. So we have a very powerful energy. And when we die, we leave this imprint behind. And I can imagine how that ripples through, even dimensionally speaking. But can you imagine all of these people who passed, just that transference of energy in that time and space, the fears, people who knew, let's say, that they were going to be offed and put in the desert, even that fear, the passing, the anxiety, and then you factor in the Native American people, the things that they have seen and what they have experienced and what their ancestors have experienced, and their own fears and the wars that have taken place going back centuries, thousands of years, probably.
That's very interesting to think about.
Transference of energy. So it stays, right? Like an imprint. Think about it. If you get into an argument with somebody in your own space, in your own home, and you're just like, you're projecting out that energy, then you go out for a couple of hours and you come back and you walk back into that room without giving it a second thought, right? Or even if you're in a foul mood, just chirping off to yourself, you come back into that space and you wonder why you feel foul, because that energy is in that time within that space. This is why, a lot of times shaman will come in and they'll clear that space, or why they'll say to you, like just positive energy and try to level things out, or use sage or whatever the case may be to cleanse that energy out of there.
There's an area right off the old Spanish Trail, and it's called the Horse Thief Ranch, is what they call it. It took me like a couple of months to find this place, but we finally found it. We hiked to it. And the story is, and there's a reason why I'm telling you this story.
Okay.
When you walk on this property, you feel that. Like it gives me chills even thinking about this place. So the story is, it was a Navajo guy that he was a chief of some sort, and he got kicked out of his tribe. So he went down. He got a couple of people, like a regular mob clan, I guess. And they were hiding along the Spanish Trail. And there's this little area, and I found it actually, and it's right off the road. And they were waiting for people in wagons to come up because it kind of winds around. And then they would jump on the wagons, kill the people, and steal the horses.
Wow.
Then he would run them. There's this valley that goes all the way down and up this mountain. And that's where you find his Horse Thief Ranch. That's where he was hiding out. He would take all his loot and everything. And he had this cabin and everything. And there's a spring up there to where he was watering his horses. And what he was doing is he would take the horses to California and meet the people that were coming the opposite direction on the old Spanish Trail, sell them those horses, and then have his people kill them on the other end and take the horses back. So he was doing this, and the law of Pahrump in Las Vegas, they couldn't find this guy because it's so remote, they couldn't get to him. If you go on anywhere on this horse ranch, you have this horrible feeling that it's just such a nasty feeling, just like you're talking about. It's just like this nasty, gross feeling that's still there.
Oh yeah, he's probably, I think spirits who are, let's say, grounded or attached to, their locations or possessions, they're not going to just give it up. And if you think of the religious mindset, for example, okay, obviously he was he was a lawless individual, so he probably didn't give too much thought to religion. But there are those people who are pretty God-fearing, especially coming into, like the new world and, the struggles. But when you're looking at your faith, depending on your faith, and you govern yourself by the word of God or the creator, and you don't live such a righteous life and you pass away, some of these people sit back and think, I think I'll take my chances and stay here because I don't want to go below. So not a nice person in life. You're grounded here. You haven't lost that energy. So you're still going to be that same type of individual in spirit, because it's not the physical body that makes you that type of individual. It's your essence. It's who you are. It's your fiber of your being. Right?
Wow. Yes.
So something to keep in mind when you're going around these places, like, okay, love and light, love and light. Just pass that around. Oh, those good vibes. Yeah, the fear of final judgment. Exactly right.
And that's kind of what you get with the Mojave, though, is you run into places that are the hauntings. They're all like this. They're all like this. They all have the criminal aspect behind it, and it's just not nice people that somehow gravitated here.
the Wild West.
Yeah, he was kind of like a Native American pirate, I guess, on the old Spanish Trail.
Or when you think about, everything that was done to the Native American people, you get those that are going to fight back. Is it justified in their minds? Like, oh, like you've cornered us into these areas, and you've come in here and you've killed so many of our people. You've killed our livelihood. You've taken our land, and so some of them, they're going to fight back. And it's the white man that says you can't do that. It's like, well, I don't know, but I think it's a little bit of all of that. And then I think if you're factoring in, and again, the Grand Canyon, just for example, there's a lot of theories behind that. We can do a show just on the Grand Canyon, right? There's so much information, my gosh. But if you factor that in, this area where they allegedly found this cave that had all of these artifacts and such. I mean, I get there's areas of the Grand Canyon. A, it's not safe. B, humans have a way of, we just destroy things just from, and it's not always on purpose. I know when I travel different parts of the world, and I'm sure you'll agree, Ciel, it's like they don't want you touching the walls. They don't want you touching certain things, because if 1,000 people a day did that, it would not be great for the artifacts, or even the side of a tomb or carving even. So I understand why certain parts of the Grand Canyon are off limits. What I don't understand, though, is why the area where this alleged cave is now under the control of NASA, and people have been met with armed military.
Makes you wonder what they found there. And there's so many places like that. Even the cave where they found the giants at, even that, there's no access to that.
See? Makes you wonder why.
It seems like you're right. There's a lot of areas like that where they have them. They call them military installations. We have a lot of that even here in the Mojave, close to Vegas. There's a lot of areas that are just fenced off. You can't get into them.
Do they give you any inkling as to why? So you're totally in the dark. So chances are, is it possible that they found something in that area, which is usually why they want to try to deter people from getting in there, unless it's a sensitive area geographically speaking or historically speaking.
I don't know if there's too many areas like that historically. I know that there are some spots that have uranium in it, like natural uranium that is here. There's some places up in North Vegas where they set off the bombs, the nuclear bombs. You can't get into any of those. But yeah, there's like whole mountains and things that are fenced off, and no one knows why. There's no evidence of a bomb being put off or any of that.
So, entrance to inner Earth, or hollow Earth, as some people call it.
It very well could be. There's an area right outside of Nelson's Landing. Nelson is an old ghost town it's probably one of our closest ghost towns. And it got washed away in a flood in the turn of the century. And right outside of that, there's an area like that. It's all fenced off, and there's no mining things in it or anything like that. So it's one of those mysteries we don't know.
Well, it's a theory, but there are a lot of places like that. If you go down into Tennessee, it's widely known that there are different entrances in. If you're looking at California, I think it was it in the 70s where they had a scientist of some sort. Geologist mapped underground tunnels and under LA, because what happened was a woman was in her house, and some houses in California don't have basements, right? And a big reptilian came right out from one of her closets, busted right through the floor.
What?
Oh, no, there are newspaper clippings of this. They're there. They're there. I have all the copies. It's insane. And without that being said, they decided, okay, we're going to map what's going on. And there was an extensive tunnel system. Extensive. So we don't know that hasn't gone out further. And you don't know that you guys don't have them.
We very well could.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
That's what they would hide that. Hands down, they would hide that. Right? There's just no way they're going to give it to us. There's just no way. I mean, especially if you're getting into, there are parts of I mean, Europe, the old world, you know, they just build a city over top of city over top of city. And I mean, you hear stories like that guy in Turkey. He just busted through a wall in his basement and ended up with like a colossal multi-level tunnel system that could hold up to 20,000 people to live underground. I'm like, see, I'm on the wrong side of the world. My luck with all the billions coming out of it, though. So, and now, of course, it's become like a tourist attraction where people can actually go and see it. But it's just like they're out there, right? And I mean, the people have been. I mean, this is Peru. The people. I can't remember which town it was, but much like the Hopi, when Cataclysm happened, it was a reptilian who brought the people down, and the reptilian people saved them, fed them, educated them, and kept them all alive until it was safe, again, through generations, to come back up. There's a statue to one of them. They'll say they call him the god something or other, and he's a reptilian statue in the center of this town. And then you have the Hopi with the ant people. Like, there seem to be a lot of indigenous tales or folklore or oral history about these beings that come up from underground and help humanity.
Yeah, it's an ongoing theme for this area, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Well, according to the Hopi, we're going through it right now.
It makes perfect sense though too, because if most people when they come to Vegas, they fly here, and so they kind of miss what the terrain really looks like. If you leave Vegas in any direction and just drive 30 minutes, you're literally out in the middle of nowhere. And not only are you in the middle of the nowhere, but for hours and hours, it's just a series of different canyons, basically, that you're driving through. So it'll be, and it's because the plateau rose and then fell, rose and then fell. So there's like a mountain range, and you have to go over that mountain range, and then you're on a big flat, and then you have to go over another mountain range, and that's how it is. And it just goes on and on and on like this. And then you
wouldn't want to get stuck out there.
Right.
Or run out of gas or.
Oh, no, I've done that. You don't want to do it. Trust me.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Yes.
In your car.
Been there, done that.
Oh, boy. That's not good.
I carry a satellite phone with me now.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But seriously, with all the valleys and stuff, there's.
Daniel! Hello! One of my favorite people, too, just so you know. Nathaniel. Yeah, well, I guess you would have to. I'd be more terrified about what came out at night. I mean, there's enough stuff that happens during the day. I can't imagine.
I was going to say that before. That's the other thing about out here in the Mojave. It's a total different atmosphere at nighttime. As soon as that sun goes down, it's a total different thing. Mm-hmm. It is dark. You can't see anything. It's really spooky. It's a spooky place.
Spooky place. It's just a spooky place. I don't know. I would take that as a bit of like, for me, I dig that sort of thing. So, but there's that sense of logic too. Well, because I'm adventurous, so I like to go. I love history. I think I would have a whole lot of fun just looking at all the petroglyphs and a lot of ancient like monuments that seem to be like. Do you guys have places out there from the Native Americans, where there were like caves into the mountains where they would actually reside in? Because I think that the Southwest had a lot of that, didn't it?
Yes, it's right outside of Vegas here. Valley of Fire is one of those places.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and that would be considered a sacred place, I would imagine.
Yes, and what's interesting about it is most ghost towns, you can pick up a certain energy in some places, but when you get to the Native American stuff, it's just a total different vibrational feel. Like you get like a low, like a almost like a drumming or something. It's very peaceful until the sun goes down. That is, during the day, it's really pretty. It's really peaceful to just be there. It's almost like a place of healing.
Yeah. Last time I heard a droning sound, I was in the haunted forest. And it was a loud droning sound that kept going on, and that was a crazy place. So I was peaceful. Yeah, I was okay with it, but it was just very odd. It was an odd thing to hear. I was sort of the mind that maybe I was listening to a portal, because a lot of people disappear there too. It's supposed to be Romania's Bermuda Triangle.
Yes.
So I have to wonder if you're hearing this droning sound, if you're kind of in the same situation.
Now that you say that, it's possible, because why would the Native Americans pick some of these places? Valley of Fire, for instance, that place is so remote and hard to get to, and by road. So you think these people were on foot? They couldn't really carry a lot of supplies with them.
Yeah.
They had to hunt.
Yeah.
There's no water there. Why did they pick that area?
Element of safety. I mean, who would travel through a barren place like this? I mean, horses wouldn't survive if you were trying to get through there. They wouldn't survive for long. There's no water.
Yeah.
People who live on the land learn to find a way for the land to sustain them in one form or another. But eventually, they move along. But it's still considered to be, a sacred place for a reason. So it wasn't uncommon for the ancients to settle in and around portals or ley lines, or even what they would consider a stargate. That whole area is like loaded with UFO activity and things of that nature, which is why hence you'll find your military there too.
Yes, we're surrounded by military. Actually, the base.
Shocker.
Very shocker.
Yeah.
There's a base not too far from here. I forget the name of it. I don't know why the name escapes me, but they're the ones that they fly the big drones overseas, the bomber drones.
Nice.
Comes right out here.
Yeah.
It's Creech. That's the name of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when you start getting into things like that, it's a matter of, you have to start wondering why they're all there in certain areas.
That's a strange area around Area 51. So I've been out that way a couple times now and found all of but 2 gates. There's like 6 gates getting into the place. 2 of them I can't find, and I think they might be gated off where the nuclear site is. I think maybe that's where it is. But this place is tucked into this canyon, basically. It's surrounded by a mountain range down in this canyon. Most of it's underground. But you have to wonder, why did they pick this area? And again, it has a spring that's a lake there. There's Groom Lake is there. There's another one. I can't remember the name of that one. But I'm sure there's underground tunnels and things that's feeding that lake too. So,
well, that, and this is a good point of view right here. The area would not have always been a desert. There would have been a lowland sea that would have connected, or would have been connected to the ocean at some point.
That is true. This used to be all underwater at one point.
Yeah.
It is true. It used to be a shallow sea. I found a lot of fossils. You can find fossils around here. that are from that area. But
See? I mean, I think sometimes we forget to look like way back. I interviewed someone beginning of the year, I believe it was, and he had written a book on dinosaurs that are still around. I'm not talking about the thunderbird, like just pterodactyls. I mean, full on land walkers. And it makes you realize that once upon a time, I mean, they're all over in the Congo, Africa. The people see them pretty regularly. But I think this was, this side of the world, I believe. It gets crazy when you think about how much there is that we just don't think about. Like we just don't know. So now I have to ask, because every desert seems to have its own treasure. So mysterious artifacts, apparently an SS marked, or there were SS marked chests found out that way by locals, strange metal spheres. So people just seem to dump things there. But do you guys have any of your own treasure stories?
I don't know of any treasure stories, to be honest.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know of any. I know there's been strange, like you just said, strange metal found around the area, like a blue metal. Agent Aliens, actually, the guy from Agent Aliens has one of them. It's like a blue metal. And it's not made of a material that's here. So that could be one of them. And then the other one is we have a lot of lodestones here that are like meteorites. For some reason. The area has a lot of meteorites.
Yes, I could see that. I could see that for sure. So no lost gold. Okay. Yeah, I know. Love a good lost gold horn legend. I know.
The gold's everywhere. So I don't know about any lost gold stories, but
But I mean, I think sometimes they surface when you're looking at the Aztec gold Blind Frog Ranch. I mean, they have an area that resembles. They went down to South America, and I think they went Brazil, Peru. They found were shown, given a copy of the Aztec map that looked like like a key, and it came around. And when they came in overhead and did overhead penetrating radar, I guess they have the same idea. It's right there. That's just why they say, no, they came from here. It was all underground. It's insane, the things they're finding over there. If you haven't watched it, I recommend, dig it up and, pardon the pun, but have a look at it and see, because it's wild. So if they're just finding things like that now, who knows? Who knows what's been buried out there? I mean, come on. There's casino. Who's the casino? Was it Bing? What was it? Bingman? The casino owner, the guy who went missing with his gold.
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it starts with a B.
He owns. He used to own South Point down here.
Yeah.
What's his name? Shoot.
Right? It's on the tip of my tongue.
Hold on, I gotta find it for you.
Yes, we have to find it now, because it's believed that that's buried somewhere in the desert.
Shoot. Hold on a second.
I know, it's making me crazy now. Help us along, everybody.
Yeah.
There's a casino owner that went missing with a whole lot of gold. And they believe he's buried out there. Binion,
that's right.
Binion. Woo! Don't take surprise.
Binion. There's a little town called Pahrump that is right outside of Vegas. And actually, I might be moving there. I'm not sure yet. It's where Art Bell lived.
Right.
And he called it Dreamland and all of that. But that guy, Binion, he actually hid out there away from the mob. His old house is out there. And it's on this hillside so that he can overlook anything coming toward him. And it is built like like there's no way you could ever break into this place. It's got like this giant wall all around it. And this wall is like 20 foot tall. And it's like right up on a mountain.
So
But
he was
he was
worried.
hiding. So before he disappeared, he knew he was in trouble, and he built this place outside of the city. You have to remember, this is when nobody was living in Pahrump back then. It was like maybe a couple ranchers, and that's it. And he built this place and was hiding out away from, they think the mob might have gotten him.
Yeah, they thought maybe his girlfriend at the time had something to do with it as well. But there was obviously a cache of gold also that ended up somewhere in the Mojave. And I'm sure not the first, probably not the last, but does anybody reside in that home now? I would imagine so. Like, I mean,
I don't know.
Wow. That's crazy. Wow. Yeah. So, okay. So we don't have any, aside from that, because that was a big deal. You know, I mean, people go missing all the time, but that was a really big deal.
You know, I never really thought about trying to dig up old treasure like that. I might need to start.
Get a metal detector, Seal. Get busy.
I have one. I'm going to have to start taking it with me.
Yeah, get busy. Gotta find out where and abouts that all was, and get narrow down the area a little bit. So
Exactly.
I know, but you know what? It's so easy. It is just so easy to just to get lost and just to let your mind run away with you. Like when you're getting into people, for example, when you mentioned, you know, the witchcraft, you know, with the dolls and things like that, that seems to be a really big problem out there. So again, what is it about the energy there that these people are harnessing to do these rituals out there? Because that does not help.
No, I think it's like you said, it's all the portals, it's all the civilizations that's lived here over the centuries. It's all the cryptoids that are living under the ground. It's the communications with the aliens.
Yes.
There's a lot of that going on.
Yeah. So CE5s are happening in the Mojave as well.
Yes. So
have you tried one?
I have not. I'm kind of scared too. I'm scared too.
Are you?
Yeah. I mean, I'll do ghosts and everything else like that, but
yeah.
aliens, I just never.
I think I would be more afraid, honestly, being surrounded by military out there. I'd be more afraid of a human CE5 contact in that respects than I would be, you know, ET. Because I also am of the mind that they are very telepathic. I'm a contactee. So for me, I would just be telepathic and say, okay, and then within a week have an experience. Not the same night, but I think you put it out there. I think if you've had the experience somewhere along the line, that it's very easy to do. But I don't think that I think we're just conditioned to fear. Let me look at this whole 3-eye atlas. Everybody's just like, oh, this is it. This is it. You know, there's like 500,000 draconians on there. 5,000, they're all in, you know, they're all asleep. I'm just like, oh, come on. You know, so that's the thing.
I'm afraid of just disappearing because, like you said, that is a thing out here.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah. There's and I mean, you have people who go asking for trouble, and they say you just may find it, and that is a place that you can do it. But you go up by yourself. I mean, day or night, you're taking a risk, though.
Yeah, I try not to go out at night. I am during the day, though. Like I said, I have a satellite phone. For those who are anti-gun, I'm sorry, I do carry when I'm out there.
Yeah.
You know, because it is dangerous. I have like a whole safety kit with me. Usually I have boards to get myself out of, you know, if my car gets stuck. Yeah, there's a lot of precautions that I take. I take a lot of water with me.
Mm-hmm.
As far as like the mines and stuff that I come across, I don't ever go down into those old mines like that. I'll send a camera down them sometimes, but
Yeah. Have you done voice recordings down those? Just,
no, I haven't, but that's a good idea.
Well, I mean, if you're going to throw a camera down there, maybe just, attach a voice recorder while you're at it and see what kind of sounds come back
Yeah,
up.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, it might be interesting. I mean, again, there are
You might
people
get sounds of hell down there.
What?
You just don't know. The sounds of hell. Have you ever heard that? Like,
Yes.
some of the holes and things around the world, they sound like hell, like people screaming and stuff out of them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. There's that. There's that as well. That's a thing. Yeah. I mean, I think when you're getting into like certain sound, I mean, the planet itself will have all kinds of crazy sounds going on. But when you start hearing screaming and things, you have to wonder, what are you listening to? I personally think hell is more of a dimensional thing, but it blends to the whole inner earth thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's really down there.
Yeah, what's really going on down there?
Yeah.
And, there is old Native American tales too that the reason why so much hardship came to the miners and the towns and things didn't survive, and some of these towns have nasty energy like this.
Mm-hmm.
Native Americans believe that it's because they dug into the earth, which was sacred to them, and then they were pulling stuff out without permission. They were digging out the gold, like Goldfield is a perfect example. They went there just to strike it rich. They dug through the ground, were pulling up gold. The Native Americans around them hated that.
Mm-hmm. There are some, some people believe that when you come into an area where Bigfoot is aggressive, it's because they feel in that place that you're not being respectful of the forest or the land as well. Like Portlock, Alaska. Killer Bigfoot. Yeah, there's Ron Moorhead was telling me about it. He goes, yeah, like the Native American people will tell you that they're like 15 feet tall there, the Bigfoot.
Wow. Can you imagine coming across something like
that? No, not really. Ciel, not really. I'd be okay with not. But apparently, like, they eat people. They kill people. Like, they're very aggressive there. And Ron is just like, well, they overfished the area. They were not, they weren't kind, let's say, to the forest. They were foresting. They were doing everything. It goes, in areas like that tend to be where they get a bit aggressive, because people who have lived in the woods and had Bigfoot around them, for example, I mean, there's this dialogue that goes on, and they'll leave food out for them, and they come back, Bigfoot comes back with trinkets, and they become very protective in some cases of the people as well, like the forest guardians that you hear sometimes Native American people call them, like forest guardians. Then you get Don Yazzie will tell you a story about how somebody who knew got pulled out of the tent and dragged down a field. Like right there, it's like, what are you supposed to believe? Like, it just gets crazy. But I tend to wonder if there are other beings out there that feel much the same within some of these areas. Some areas are just meant to be left alone.
Yeah.
Just because we're here and we have access doesn't mean we're supposed to.
Yeah, the Horse Thief Ranch is one of those places, I believe.
Yeah. See. And that's one place I wonder if anybody tried to cleanse it. I mean, the Native American people, for example.
Well, I tend to think it's the opposite. I kind of think that they might have brought that on, because you have to understand, when their land was being taken away like that, they were being slaughtered and everything. It wasn't pretty. It wasn't like they said, okay, we're taking your land, you go live there. That didn't happen. They were killing these people.
Yeah, so that's what I was saying earlier, like that
Yeah.
things that would contribute to that type of energy. So perhaps that, that they would leave, the land as
Hmm.
is to keep people from being on it. But in the same respect, it may be just to give the spirit some kind of peace.
It could be.
If he was Native American at that time, but again, things happen for different reasons, and I think there are areas that should be left untouched. There are areas that, we don't just get. It's not our right to just go in and start, you know, um, just taking over or just assuming that we belong there. I think exploring it and having that like taking it over are two entirely different things, obviously.
Yeah. I've been in some areas though where it's like, you shouldn't be there
Mhm.
kind of thing. And you
Mm.
even get that from the spirit world. There was a place in Biloxi, Mississippi that I hiked,
Mhm.
and I just randomly came across this old plantation house with these giant oak trees. They were gorgeous.
Mhm.
But the feeling I got, and then I started seeing the spirits, and they
Mhm.
had surrounded me and they said, "You don't belong here."
Yeah.
Like, they did not want me on that prop. That was their land. They didn't want me on that land.
Mhm.
You can pick up on that.
Yes. Oh, when you're not welcome. Sometimes it's loud and clear. Kathy says, CL, do you have a partner to go with you for safety?
And I don't. I used to have a golden retriever that would go with me on all these trips, and
Yeah.
every once in a while I get someone that's brave enough to go with me, but
If I was closer, I would go with you, CL, because I am said person.
some of the places I go to are a little scary. I
Yeah.
guess people just, like I said, most of my friends here in Vegas are kind of the indoor crowd. So
It's so wonderful if you're asking them to do things like that. We're going to go
Um,
walk through the desert. We might get lost. We might run out of gas. There are things in them there deserts.
yes,
Yeah.
I have one friend that
Yeah.
he likes to go off-roading and things. He'll go with me quite a bit, but he doesn't like all the haunted stuff.
Right.
He's very spiritual, and he won't touch that stuff. So
Well, you
yeah.
can't really blame them when you're in a place like the Mojave, which has like, thousands and hundreds of years and thousands of years. I mean, they're showing now that, that Native American ancestors could potentially have gone back like 25,000 years. I think they found footprints and was it the salt flats
Mhm.
that were probably about 25,000 years old.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yes. Yep. And we have petroglyphs that they believe around Vegas. They now believe that some of them could be that old too.
There you go. So,
Mhm.
there's so much history that is yet to be uncovered. And I think that's for me, I love the history. You have to understand the history to understand why everything is happening in certain areas. And just because you don't see things, it doesn't mean they don't see you.
That's exactly right.
Like
Yeah.
these guys, the big bugs. Who wants to go? I do. I do it. I would do it.
I'll
Scales
post
packing.
those.
We're okay.
You know what? I will post that video with from the camera.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'll post
Yeah.
that for you guys so you can see it, what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh, it'd be great. That would be great. We'd love that. But you know what? It's been fantastic. We are at our 90-minute mark, and you're coming back too this year. We're gonna have more. We have more excellent CL stories coming up, so you guys can look for her in beginning of the year. And what do you have coming up? Tell everybody how to find you. Tell about your show. Who's next on the show? Let's, promote.
Well, I'm never good at the self promotion stuff.
Come on.
You can find me at
You can do it.
clthomas.org. That's the easiest place to find me. I'm on Facebook too. And let's see, I think my next guest is Donna Copa,
Okay.
talking about Bigfoot.
Ooh,
Um,
that's very popular right now.
yes. And then what I have coming up, I'm kind of working on a YouTube channel. Everyone keeps saying I need to start putting my adventures on YouTube.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm working on right now. I'm creating a little channel It's going to be called Small Town Tales, and it's from my old podcast. I'm just going to bring it back as a vlog, a video vlog of some of these places I go to, and I'll show like clips and things. And then I'm also working on another book. It's called Ghost and Grit, and it's about some of these ghost town experiences that I've had.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, that would be good. Well, of course, you are welcome to come back on and talk about anything. I know the next show is going to be great, so you guys will just have to tune in for that. And again, thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with us and sharing all of your insight into the Mojave, because now we got people who are absolutely like, yeah, I want to go. And those are like, no, we just lost us at the giant bugs. We're good though. So you're just going to have to get out there and start doing some, EVPs and getting some more photos. And if you see a big bug, just don't worry about it. We understand, and you could just go the other way. But, but for all of you guys in the chat room, a lot of new faces. Thank you so much for joining us. Please like, subscribe, share, comment. Go show CL some love Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time on Tuesdays. Go check her out. Might even find the occasional, archive with yours truly on there. Yeah. So tomorrow night, guys, for the very first time, Polly Roderman joins us. You've seen her here in chat. She's just awesome. She is an ET experiencer, has had a journey of various encounters with beings such as the mantis and others whom she calls the tent people. We'll talk about the hybridization program. She's just fantastic. So please tune in for that. And thank you again. See you all tomorrow night. And thank you, CL. Good night, everyone.
Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.